Hey guys, it's Crossroads here. Today I want to talk about hims and hers, especially the hers side of this stock. Yeah, the stock, of course, was up over 16% yesterday, is moving after being a little bit stagnant for a little while. Let's take a look at what's going on. So, first, let's pull up the big chart here and see what the stock move is. Now, I'm recording this at night, so who knows what it's doing today when you're actually watching this video. But we can see hims and hers went up 16.18%, a little bit movement after hours too, not atypical. Don't take too much for granted from the after overnight move. Now, hims is and remains a stock that has a heavy amount of short interest as well. And so I think probably what we saw today was some shorts actually getting out of the play and position. We'll look at the announcements here in just a minute, but these are real and meaningful. And there's a couple of interesting nuggets as well. HIMS is up 135.67% year to date. So it's doing very, very well and growing, even though if you look at it, it's really been flat for a while. It's up 24% over the last 3 months. If we zoom out a little bit further, we can see that at some points it's actually trading basically even with the S&P 500 since midsummer. So not exactly what you want to see, but it's not atypical with stocks like this, that especially volatile stocks, where it'll have times of underperformance and times where it's lagging and times where it just spurts ahead like it did today. So what exactly is going on with hims and hers? Well, they announced basically two different pieces over the last 2 months of their product line. Now, this is from their quarter two announcements as far as earnings. And we can see this roadmap here. Now, Canada is something that we've talked about before in weight loss, that they're actually launching semaglutide in January because Novo Nordisk couldn't be bothered to refile that patent, humorously enough. And they mentioned coming soon to the hormone health and longevity side. On the hormone health, of course, they announced testosterone products, several of those, and one also coming next year. And then today, specifically, they have two different announcements, both relating to the same thing, that hers launches menopause and perimenopause specialty, taking the next step towards 1 billion of hers revenue in 2026. And so these are very important and significant pieces of the puzzle for hims and hers. The more products that they have, the more adept their flywheel is. And so they show pretty much every presentation that they have, whether it's an investor presentation or earnings slide, but they really do have a flywheel here. A lot of people will come to hims and hers for a very specific need, whether that's weight loss, whether that's hair loss, whether that's now maybe testosterone or some sort of testing just to see what may be wrong with you. And hims and hers is able to leverage through MedMatch, basically figuring out what's going on with you and also giving you data-driven personalized solutions. And personalization is really their moat, that they're able to offer usually your medicine in a lot of different formats. And also they can oftentimes combine those as well into one package. Not the case with all the products that they launched today, but certainly as they have more and more customers, that helps deliver more data, which again produces higher outcomes, and it just becomes a more attractive portfolio and system as time goes on. So great that they're launching these two. The TAM on both of these is actually quite immense on perimenopause, menopause, and also previously testosterone as well. There are a lot of companies that are doing these type of products. And so I don't know if there's any real differentiation here beyond MedMatch, beyond personalization, and beyond the distribution, which frankly, hims and hers does a really good job with. And I would say that the other part that is maybe a little bit differentiated too is specifically the marketing. The marketing team at hims and hers is very, very good. And even that comes down to the level of detail with branding that they treat. Of course, hims and hers is one brand, it's one company, it's one stock, but they treat men and women actually functionally very different than a lot of their competitors, like Roe. If you go there, if you look at their website, men and women, yes, there's a place for each of them, but it's not a hims and a hers type of situation. Now, what exactly does that mean? What does that look like for hims and hers? I won't play this video here, but you can certainly look at it yourself. This is an OBGYN that she's been in the field for a very long time and basically makes a compelling case and says, hey, this is a huge need. Now, One of the things that Hims and Hers has also done that I think is really smart, they had a minor acquisition this year and a couple of larger ones, but the minor one was Tribe Labs. And so it's in-home testing. And so women and men can also be tested for a range of symptoms. And some of those will be referred out if Hims doesn't have a match for you. But some of the products, like the estrogen and the perimenopause, the menopause products, and the testosterone as well, those are ones where they can figure out where you're at, what your levels are, what your symptoms are, and based on who you are, actually provide something that is very specific to you. Which means that if it's working for you and it's basically a frictionless experience, that you are not that likely to just switch overnight to somebody that doesn't have that level of personalized care like Hims and Hers has as well. But they have excellent branding across the board, very much targeted towards women. And they note here that approximately 1.3 women, a million women in the US experience menopause every year. And with menopause, with perimenopause, with testosterone, especially as well, there's still a certain amount of stigma, especially on testosterone, where men, especially, but also women, are not getting the treatment that they need. And so this allows them a way to be able to do that from the comfort and security of their home to get the help that they need. And again, it's a massive, massive TAM and opportunity. Now, as far as Hims, one of the other interesting pieces of this announcement was the number that they put behind this. They noted that this takes them towards a step towards 1 billion of Hers revenue in 2026. They do note in a footnote that that's at the end of 2026, so don't expect that in the beginning or midpoint necessarily. Hers is the smaller of the two as far as revenue contribution versus Hims. Of course, combined, they make quite a bit of money as well. And let's take a look at that. So here is the goal of what they're trying to do by 2030. And that's a lot of growth between that year where they're at right now, hitting that $6.5 billion of revenue at least, and perhaps even harder, the 1.3 billion of adjusted EBITDA revenue. Now, if we look at the actual financials, we can see that there is quite a lot of room to grow. By the way, here's the revenue, and it shows the subscribers. The personalized care is continuing to tick up, which is a really good thing to see. But we can see here that they had a sugar rush, so to speak, from GLP-1 compounding that they were able to do up until May. So that was still part in quarter two. They've seen a deceleration in their core growth outside of weight loss products, which I'm glad that they broke that out in the 10Q. And so this product, as well as the testosterone, are things that help them accelerate in their core. And it's very important that they hit this. Now, you can add these numbers up and see that they are actually very close to $2 billion in terms of the year. But again, Hers is less than 50% of the business. And so we don't know how much growth this is necessarily because we don't have any. This is the first time they've broken out Hers numbers and benchmarked it at all, which I really appreciate. I think that that's a good thing, and they need to continue to do that. It'd also be helpful to know where we're at in this next earnings call. And it wouldn't surprise me that they show that. And we're going to see a lot of growth between now and then with the products that they've launched on Hers. So, but to get to that $6.5 billion that they're aiming for by 2030, they continue to have to expand internationally, but also expand their product suite and the level of personalization that they can offer. So this is a meaningful step. That's one of the reasons why this stock popped the way it did. And it's up, a little bit over 16%. Even though it's been kind of still and stagnant, and now it has been moving up a nice channel over the last month. But yeah, this is not a dead opportunity. Now, where am I with Hims? I've not increased my position. In fact, I decreased it before they reported the previous quarter. I saw that there was a large chance of a slowdown in revenue. And I think that that's still going to be the case in quarter three and quarter four as well, as they hit some of those lapping benefits from the GLP-1 acceleration that they experienced last year. And core growth was not where, frankly, it needed to be. Now, next year, there's a lot of stuff happening, and I think that's where we'll see a meaningful acceleration as they continue to ramp these products up and actually market for them and get people on board as well. But until that, then, this quarter might be one of those where it's a little bit challenging as well. So I'm happy to hold the position here. If Hims falls dramatically for some reason and nothing has really changed in the company, I'm glad to load up the boat again. And of course, if we just continue on moving up 16% day after day, hey, I'm not complaining about that either, although it would be a little bit unexpected. Though anything can happen with a high short interest. So I am at a hold right now for HIMS, even though I'm very bullish on this through 2030. Just sometimes you recognize that there are other opportunities out there, and it makes sense to more hold rather than add dramatically. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did what they launched today, and of course the stock move as well, get your attention? Did you end up adding more? Did you say, hey, I've been holding this long enough, let me get out? I'd love to hear in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And until next time, happy investing.